morning and welcome to Breakfast by the Bay. Happy Friday. I'm Captain Eric. Today I have Captain Jen and special guest star Captain Meghan joining us. And we are going to do some shoreline fishing using a net called a seine. So we're just going to wait a few minutes here while folks join us. And just please let us know if you can hear our audio, and we'll get started in just 1 second. All right, well, Captain Jen says that our visitors are here. Welcome. Thanks again for joining us for Breakfast by the Bay. I'm Captain Eric. This is Captain Meghan and Captain Jen behind the camera. And we are at Potter Cove on Connecticut Island in the town of Jamestown. So this is a great shoreline with a sandy beach bordered by a rocky shore out here towards Taylor Point. And we are in what we would refer to as the Lower Bay. We're just about half a mile north of the Newport Bridge. So today we're going to actually try to do some fishing. We are coming into our last week of Breakfast by the Bay videos, and we are going to be really concentrating on finding some critters in the bay for our last few episodes. So today we're going to be using this kind of net right here. This is called a Seine net. And it is a very simple kind of net. It's been used for thousands of years all over the world and is still heavily in use today. It is simply a net that you use to either walk along a beach or even out in deeper water with a number of boats where you kind of encircle your catch. So what's going to happen here is Captain Meghan and I are going to take the net into the water. We're going to walk along the shoreline, kind of driving anything in front of us. Then we're going to turn, move in towards shore, and hopefully come up with a catch for you to take a look at. Then we'll go through the catch and we'll see if we can identify what we have found. Now remember, this is always fishing, not catching, so we don't know what we're going to find. Want to take a look with us? Let's do it. All right, let me get my mask on. And here we go.
Good morning, everyone. Jen here behind the camera. So I'm going to take over our narration as Meghan and Eric head on out into Narragansett Bay here. So again, we're at Potter Cove here in the town of Jamestown. Now you're going to see Eric's walking out a little bit deeper than Meghan. And they're going to actually walk this net parallel to the shore. Now you may see those white floats that are on the top of the line there. That is to keep the net up so it doesn't sink down to the bottom. And on the net that's dragging at the bottom, on the bottom line, there are some weights to keep it down. Now you have to walk this in a pretty particular fashion. They're almost holding it like you would hold a vacuum. You want to keep the poles down on the bottom of the bay floor so that that bottom line stays right on the bay floor. If they were to pick that pole up, it allows anything that they would catch, especially fish, to swim right underneath the net and escape. So they're going to walk at a steady but kind of a slow pace, and they're going to try to scoop up whatever may be out in the bay this time of year. This is a really great activity that requires a lot of teamwork, a lot of communication, so that way you are walking in the same direction. When it's time to turn and start taking this seine net to shore, it's important to communicate with your partner. So right now, they're starting to make their turn in towards shore. You'll see they're starting to come closer to me. And they're gonna be super careful still to keep those poles down on the ground so that nothing can escape. Now the exciting part is coming up. Once we get this net to shore, we'll be able to lay it across the beach and comb through anything that we might have collected out here in Potter Cove today. We are almost there. All right, let's go greet Meghan and Eric and see what they have. All right, let's walk it right on. Let's walk it right on over here. Find a good spot where we can put this down and see what's in it. All right, what do you think, Captain Eric? How's it looking?
Well, I see a few little things. Not too much in the way of fish species.
Oh, looks like there's one right here.
Oh, hello. Let's see. Let's get him.
Oh, and another fish there.
All right. Megan got that guy.
Wonderful.
I just felt something.
Got a shrimp.
Whoop.
Wonderful.
This is a
Ooh.
live mussel with some slipper clams. Slipper
Oh,
shells.
a little hermit.
Awesome.
So it's a really, really high tide right now. We were actually seining on what is very often the intertidal zone. So a lot of the crab species and stuff like that probably weren't in the area we were. But unless we wanted to get very wet, that was going to be where we were going to be. What'd you see? Oh, cool. That guy's really neat. There you go, Captain Megan.
All right.
So,
Let's start looking through what we caught today. Quite a few things in here. So let's start off with this. And this is a fish we see pretty often here in the bay. This is called a cunner. I'm gonna pass it off to Meg so that I can talk back here. Cunners are usually this greenish gray color. Now they can actually get up to about 15 inches tall, inches long. And they do have a pointed snout. So it's a great way to try to identify them. They sometimes can have a little blotch pattern on them, but this is probably like a 3-inch cunner right here, so it still has some growing to go, but great find. Let's see what else we have in here. Oh, great. We have some shore shrimp. These are really fun to catch. They jump around quite a bit, but it is really cool how they're almost translucent down this way, and you can kind of see right through them.
now does that one have any, can we turn that guy over and take a look at his legs maybe?
Yeah, we can look at their legs, and I think Captain Eric wants to look at their legs because shrimp will actually lay their eggs on the outside of their body and carry them right down here by their legs. Does not look like this shrimp has any eggs at the moment, but we do have a few other shrimp, so we can check them out too. We'll see who's faster, Captain Meg or these shrimp.
The shrimp.
All right, I don't see any on here either. What they would look like are little tiny grayish eggs, all along the bottom, super small,
Now,
but
what
I
do
don't
you guys
see any.
think would eat these shore shrimp?
Ooh, great question.
So these shore shrimp are a big food for many of the other animals that live in the bay. Everything from flounder to even this cunner would eat smaller shore shrimp, and as he gets bigger, he would eat the bigger ones. So they're a real important feeding.
Cool. All right, we have a few more things in here to see. All right, we have a crab here.
Ooh.
Awesome.
So if you remember from our episode with Letty and Captain Chris when they did speed crabs, this guy should be one of the crabs that they took a look at. You can tell it's got a greenish kind of body. The body shape is not quite square. It's kind of more of a rounded shape along the front, and then it kind of comes back as like a trapezoid. And there are 5 points right beside each of its eyes, right along the front there. So 5 points also spells G-R-E-E-N. So that is a green crab. Interesting that that crab is actually an invasive species, although it's been here for, at least 150, if not longer years. It came from Northern Europe, and it's been here for so long that most people just consider it a native species today.
We have another crab species here. We have a long-clawed hermit crab. Now, hermit crabs are a really interesting type of crab, and they actually do not make this shell that it's crawling around in right now. They have to find empty shells that they can live inside of for additional protection. So they are typically going to find an empty snail shell that they can live in. And this is one of the species of hermit crabs we have in the bay. We also have a broad-clawed hermit crab that gets a lot larger with much larger claws.
So they must have a very specially adapted body in order to fit inside those snail shells, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, they absolutely do. And so if you think of a lobster and how lobsters can curl their tail up under their body, that's kind of how this hermit crab would look without its shell. They have a pair of legs that are in the way back of their body that we can't see right now. And those legs are what they use to hold themselves securely inside of their shell. Now, as the hermit crab grows, they will shed the shell that is covering their legs and their claws, but they do not have an exoskeleton on the back of their body, which is why they need this snail shell for additional protection. When they get too big for this shell, they're going to walk around and look for a little bit larger empty snail shell that they can call their next home.
While we're on the subject of crabs, we also caught this little piece of crab shell. I wonder if any of our viewers can try to identify what this might be from. So this, if we saw the entire thing, looks like it would be a round shell. So which one of our native crabs has a round shell? This one. If anyone, any answers here?
I think we just spotted a full-sized one coming right up.
Oh,
there we go. Any guesses what kind of crab this might be?
And that one is a spider crab. Very cool.
Nice. All right, I think we have one last fish that we have in here. He's faster. And now this one has surprised me a bit. This is not one that I have really seen much before, so I will have to look into it a little bit more to find out what species this is. You can see it way down there, and I think maybe we can view through the side too. There we go. Now, if it slows down, there you go, you can see they have almost clear fins. So all along the top, their dorsal fin is long and clear. Their anal fin on the bottom is long and clear as well. And their tail is kind of forked at the end. This is very fast fish here. But it also has a blue back kind of on the top of its body. So based on the fins alone, it's leading me to believe that it is some type of hake. But I will have to look into it further to figure out exactly what species it is.
What do you use to help you look up fish, Captain Jack?
Oh, great question. There are lots of guides available. One of the ones I like to use is a Peterson field guide right here, Atlantic Coast Fishes. We did look through it quickly earlier today, and there's a lot of different fish in this book that will help you narrow down the things that you've collected. The thing about this one is it's so small and it's probably a juvenile, and oftentimes juveniles look different than their adult forms. So this is definitely something I'm curious to look into a little bit more to find out what type of species it actually is.
Cool.
But that's why going out and collecting animals, using seine nets, or other kinds of fishing methods are super fun, because you never know what you're gonna catch. And even today, I feel like I still learn about new species, learn about animals that we collect, and it's exciting because we don't know what we're gonna find until we pull these nets in. Now here at Save the Bay, we have a collector's permit, so the things we catch, we're releasing back into the bay. And unless we decide that it might be a good addition to somewhere like our Newport Aquarium. But for the most part, we're collecting these species to identify and learn about, and then we're sending them back into the bay.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I hope that that you've enjoyed doing a little bit of fishing with us today here on the bay in Potter Cove. We've got an exciting week coming up next week for our very last week of Breakfast by the Bay. On Monday, Captain Meghan's going to be helping us with more fish identification. And then on Wednesday, Jeff and Janine are going to go quahogging. And to wrap things up with our 50th video in our 50th year, we are going to be going out on our vessel Elizabeth Morris and trawling for a catch out in the bay itself. So we hope you'll join us next week. We're very happy that you've been with us today. Again, if you've enjoyed our videos and have the means, please, we'd love to have you donate to Save the Bay, or check out our website for many of the other ways you also can help save the bay. Thank you all very much for joining us today, and you guys have a great weekend. Bye-bye.